The sterile, flickering fluorescent lights of a corporate office hallway cast long, unsettling shadows, immediately setting a chilling tone that hinted at the insidious manipulation often lurking beneath professional veneers. It was a silent, almost imperceptible warning, a prelude to the psychological battles waged daily in such environments. The narrative began to unfold, introducing the pervasive and damaging concept of gaslighting within the workplace, not as a mere argument or misunderstanding, but as a calculated, deliberate strategy. Its insidious goal was to systematically erode an individual's self-trust, leaving them questioning their own reality. Researchers at the University of Surrey had meticulously identified this insidious pattern of emotional manipulation, emphasizing its dangerous subtlety when cloaked in calm, professional, and seemingly innocuous language. This academic insight underscored the gravity of the issue, highlighting how easily it could be overlooked. The scene then subtly shifted, drawing the viewer's attention to a laptop screen, its cold blue light reflecting the anxious face of an employee, illuminated by the urgency of an incoming email. The subject line screamed a silent accusation, a clear attempt to distort a past event. This pivotal moment set the stage for the introduction of the first counterphrase, a powerful tool designed to dismantle the gaslighter's carefully constructed web of deceit. When confronted with a blatant denial, especially concerning documented facts, the recommended response was precise and unemotional. It was a direct challenge, devoid of anger or frustration, designed to cut through the ambiguity. The suggested retort was simple yet devastatingly effective. "I have the email from March 7th. Do you want me to forward it to you right now?" This tactic aimed to dismantle ambiguity, the gaslighter's essential tool, with irrefutable, tangible facts. It transformed a subjective accusation into an objective, verifiable truth, leaving no room for evasion. The power of this approach lay in its reliance on concrete evidence, stripping the manipulator of their preferred weapon. By demanding a factual basis, the employee reclaimed control of the narrative, forcing the gaslighter to confront the undeniable truth of their own words, or lack thereof. The flickering lights seemed to intensify, mirroring the internal struggle and the dawning realization. This was not just about winning an argument. It was about preserving one's sanity and professional integrity. The email on the screen pulsed, a silent testament to the insidious nature of corporate mind games. Each word of the counterphrase was a strategic strike, a calculated move in a high-stakes psychological chess match. It was a lesson in maintaining composure under pressure, in trusting one's own memory and documentation. The employee, though initially shaken, found a newfound resolve in the simple power of documented truth. The sterile office environment, once a symbol of corporate order, now revealed its hidden undercurrents of manipulation. The battle was subtle, fought not with raised voices, but with carefully chosen words and undeniable evidence. This first counterphrase was merely the beginning, a foundational step in navigating the treacherous waters of workplace gaslighting. It was a testament to the idea that clarity and fact could always triumph over deceptive narratives. The reflection in the laptop screen, though still anxious, now held a glimmer of determination. The fight for truth in the corporate labyrinth had just begun. Armed with simple, powerful phrases, the air in the hallway felt heavy, charged with the unspoken tension of psychological warfare. Every interaction could be a trap, every conversation a potential minefield of manipulation. But with these tools, the employee was no longer a passive victim, but an active participant. The urgent email, once a source of dread, became a catalyst for strategic resistance. The flickering lights continued their rhythmic dance, illuminating the path forward. It was a path paved with evidence, documentation, and unwavering self-belief. The corporate world, with its polished facade, concealed a darker, more complex reality. Yet, within this complexity, simple truths held immense power, capable of dismantling elaborate lies. The narrative underscored the importance of not just identifying gaslighting, but actively countering it. This was a story about empowerment, about reclaiming one's narrative in the face of psychological aggression. The quiet hum of the office machinery seemed to amplify the internal resolve of the individual. Each documented fact became a shield, each precise phrase a sword in this silent battle. The chilling tone of the hallway now resonated with a different kind of energy, one of strategic defiance. The journey through corporate mind games had just commenced, armed with clarity and conviction. The laptop screen, once a source of anxiety, now displayed the potential for victory. This was a critical lesson in navigating the subtle art of workplace manipulation. The power of documentation, often overlooked, emerged as the ultimate weapon against deceit. The story emphasized that emotional responses only fueled the gaslighter's agenda. Instead, a calm, factual approach was the most effective way to disarm them. The sterile environment became a backdrop for a profound personal and professional awakening. The employee was learning to trust their own perceptions, supported by undeniable evidence. This marked a turning point. From confusion to clarity, from doubt to certainty, the corporate landscape, though treacherous, was now navigable with the right tools. The first counterphrase had been deployed, setting a precedent for future encounters. The battle for truth and self-preservation had truly begun. Building upon the initial strategy of confronting denial with irrefutable facts, the corporate battlefield demands further sophisticated defenses. The story continues by offering strategic responses to common gaslighting tactics, designed to disarm manipulators. When a colleague, perhaps sensing a loss of control, resorts to the classic accusation of being too sensitive, the recommended counter is not to defend one's emotions, but to redirect the conversation firmly towards accountability. A calm, unwavering voice might articulate, "Let us focus on the decision that was made and who approved it." This method, termed strategic reframing, forces the manipulator to confront their actions directly, without the convenient smokescreen of emotional debate or personal attacks. It shifts the focus from subjective feelings to objective processes and responsibilities, effectively neutralizing the emotional weapon being wielded against you. This approach ensures that the discussion remains grounded in verifiable events, rather than devolving into a subjective argument about personal feelings. The narrative then addresses another insidious gaslighting maneuver: the creation of a false consensus. Often, a manipulator will claim, "Everyone agrees with me," or "It's common knowledge that," to isolate their target and make them doubt their own perceptions. This tactic aims to make the victim feel like an outlier, questioning their judgment against a supposed majority. In such instances, the antidote is a simple yet powerful demand for documentation. The phrase, "Then it should be easy to document that in writing," reveals the illusion. This seemingly innocuous request collapses the fabricated illusion of widespread agreement, as the gaslighter is rarely prepared to put their baseless claims on official record. The demand for written proof exposes the hollowness of their assertion, forcing them to either retract or reveal the lack of support for their position. It corners them into a position where their manipulative consensus cannot withstand scrutiny. This move transforms a vague claim into a concrete, verifiable statement, which the gaslighter is almost certainly unable to provide. Finally, when timelines are deliberately rewritten or events are conveniently reordered to suit a narrative, the advice is to calmly present the original, unadulterated record. This isn't about accusation, but about alignment and clarity, re-establishing the factual sequence of events without emotional charge. A composed individual might state, "I want to make sure we are aligned. Here is the original version with dates," offering a physical or digital document. This direct, evidence-based approach cuts through the confusion and deliberate misdirection. It provides an objective anchor in a sea of subjective manipulation, allowing the conversation to return to the undisputed facts. The key is to present the record as a neutral reference point, rather than as a weapon in an argument. These phrases, meticulously crafted and delivered, are devoid of emotion or accusatory tones. They rely solely on the unassailable power of evidence and documentation. By replacing emotional reactions with structured, factual responses, these tactics render the gaslighter's manipulation ineffective. The gaslighter thrives on ambiguity and emotional responses, but these precise counterphrases introduce clarity and objectivity. They force the manipulator to engage with facts, a domain where their tactics falter. The subtle art of corporate psychological warfare demands not just vigilance, but also a precise arsenal of counter-strategies. Each phrase is a strategic tool, designed to dismantle the gaslighter's narrative brick by brick. They empower the target to regain control of the conversation and protect their reality. This systematic approach ensures that the victim is not drawn into a circular argument, but rather steers the discussion towards verifiable truths and accountability. By consistently applying these techniques, individuals can create an environment where gaslighting becomes an unsustainable and ultimately futile endeavor. The goal is to establish a pattern of response that signals to the manipulator that their usual tactics will simply not work. This creates a psychological barrier, making the target an undesirable subject for manipulation. Ultimately, these strategies are about self-preservation and maintaining one's professional integrity. They transform the victim from a passive recipient of manipulation into an active, strategic player. This shift in dynamic is crucial for fostering a healthier, more transparent workplace culture. The power lies not in confrontation, but in the calm, unwavering presentation of truth. These phrases are not just words, they are boundaries, clearly defined and firmly held. They are the linguistic equivalent of a shield, deflecting the gaslighter's attempts to distort reality. Mastering these responses is essential for anyone navigating the complex dynamics of corporate power. They represent a potent defense against psychological manipulation in the professional sphere. Equipping oneself with such tools is paramount for preserving one's sanity and career.